This is the solution video to the exercise, to the challenge that I issued in the previous video, where I asked you to, in the readme.txt, to create an abstract base class called employee, make its pay employee abstract as well, then create two derived classes, one that knows how to pay an employee based on an hourly rate, and one that knows how to pay an employee based on a yearly salary. And we can extend those classes with extra properties as needed. But in the end, what we want to do is polymorphically call that pay employee method and then also print out the amount that we're paying each employee, each of the two employees here, Bob and Steve. Okay? So let's get started. First thing we need to do is create abstract base classes. So that's pretty simple, right? We just use the abstract keyword here, and we're going to go ahead and make this an abstract as well. And then we can get rid of that body, which had nothing in it anyway, and just replace it with a semicolon. And next thing we're going to do is create two classes. One I'll call hourly employee and another one called salaried employee. So let's go class hourly employee. That derives from employee. And then we'll go class salary employee, and it will also derive from employee. And we get some red squigglies because we haven't implemented the abstract member pay employee. We'll take care of that right now. I'm going to hit Control period on my keyboard, implement the abstract class. We'll do the same here. Control period, implement the abstract class. Awesome. Now in the hourly employee, I need to know what the hourly rate is. So let's just let's go public, or let's go actually prop, tab. We'll go double since we need dollars and cents, and decimal might be too large. So let's call this hourly rate, okay? And we'll probably want something similar down here for the salaried employee, right? So we'll go public double yearly salary. And probably should prop tab that one, but I just typed it in. Okay. So now inside of this implementation, what we'll do is, let's see, we're going to go and take the hourly rate times how many hours were worked. So typically what we would want to do here is pass in the amount of hours worked. However, that's not particularly easy in this case because we'd have to create an overloaded version of that method, and I don't want to get into that. So what we'll do is just add a another value here, and so we'll go public double hours worked, maybe, and then set that. And then here what we'll do is public double weeks worked, so we can do partial weeks. And this one might be where your implementation varies from mine. That's fine, as long as we get similar kinds of results. All right, so now what we can do is reference those two methods, or those two properties inside of this pay employee method. So the first thing we need to do is calculate the actual amount of payment that we need to make. So let's go and do something like var payment amount equals the hourly rate times the hours worked. That seems pretty simple, right? And then we'll do a console write line. Looks like I'm missing a using system. Yeah, so we'll add that thanks to IntelliSense there. And here we're going to go, we'll do this through interpolation and use the name of the employee that we're going to get from the base class. So name is owed, and then we'll do the payment amount. And that's going to come out to a very odd number. So we'll probably need to format that somehow. And I'm not sure that we ever covered how to do this, so you might have struggled with this a little bit. I think all you got to do is that. So that'll be interesting. I'll have to make sure that that works. I'm just doing that off the top of my head. So you may have had to look that up. I apologize. Probably should have covered that earlier, but that's a pretty minor part of this entire application. Again, we're focusing more on the actual how do we work with abstract base classes and such. So, at any rate, let's move on. That should take care of that first employee. Let's work on this employee now. Let's go var payment amount. Well, first of all, let's figure out how much they make per week. So var weekly salary equals the yearly salary divided by, what, 52? And then we should be able to take that and multiply by the number of weeks worked. So let's take a var payment amount and set that equal to the weekly salary times the weeks worked, right? And then we should be able to do something similar here. Console.WriteLine, and then add the string interpolation character is owed, and then another interpolation character there. And here we're going to go name, and here we're going to go with the payment amount and format that as currency. With any luck, that'll work. So now all we need to do is pass in, first of all, let's go var Bob equals new hourly employee, and then we'll set Bob's properties. So Bob, his hourly rate is what, $27.50? So 27.5, and I think I can use, is that a D? Does that work? Yeah. And then that just makes us a double literal 27.50. And then the hours worked would equal 40D, and that's kind of optional, I guess. I just did that because we made the property double, so I'm going to make the literal we pass in double as well. And then we'll do the same with Steve here. So var Steve equals new salaried employee. And, you know, honestly, if I had to do this over, I might make a constructor for this sort of stuff so you'd have to set the properties afterwards. Oh well, there's lots of different ways we could solve this. All right, so Steve, his yearly salary is equal to 50,000 D, and then Steve dot weeks worked equals just 1, and so then we should be able to, in both of these cases, we're going to go var employees equals new list of employee. All right, since that's what they have in common, we can add them both in there by creating a generic list of type employee. And technically they're both employees, even though they're just from derived from the base abstract base class. So we'll add in Bob, and we're going to add in Steve, and then we're going to pass that to our pay employees method. And then we're going to stand back and watch the fireworks, and let's see if my implementation works. I haven't fought through this beforehand. I figure I'd solve it live on camera. Let's go ahead and run it and see what happens here. Alright, that isn't exactly what I was hoping for. Let's see what we got here. Oh, I didn't set their names, first of all. So bob.name equals Bob. And Steve.name equals Steve. That'll fix that problem, but I also didn't get the results I wanted down here. So maybe what we need to do instead of that is toString it, and then we can do this C0. I think that would work. And maybe somebody has spent the time and actually figure out how to make this syntax work. That should have worked the other way, but maybe I just missed something small there. All right. So there we go. Bob's owed $1,100 and Steve is owed $962. Awesome. That should be close to the solution that you get. Might have a little formatting difference, might be different in the way that we implemented our properties or how we printed things out. But overall, hopefully that was a close approximation to what you got. All right. So you're doing great. Let's continue on.